So that, yeah, healing is always possible. But if you want to become healthy, guess what? The word health originates in a word for wholeness. So if trauma is the disconnection from yourselves, then health is the reconnection, which is entirely possible, entirely available for us, because that capacity for healing is simply in our nature as organisms.
Hi, I'm Dr. Angie Holzer, and I specialize in yoga for mental health. And today we'll be learning about self-soothing techniques and self-regulation techniques. When you're stressed or you have trauma or anxiety, these will help.
When a person's feeling traumatized, is traumatized, nothing feels safe. Almost nothing feels safe. And as therapists, what we want to do is to be able to convey, at least in the smallest amount, an island of safety. That there is a way that you can feel safe, that something has happened to you, you survived it. Now we're going to go back up and pick up some of those pieces that you left behind so you can be whole again. The other thing that's important in trauma therapy is that as soon as possible, that the therapists also provide tools, help the client learn tools that they can use to help them feel relatively safe. Because if the only place they feel safe is with you, the therapist, then when they leave and then they start feeling, horrible again, terrified, helpless, then sometimes, very frequently actually, they'll kind of shame themselves, what Fritz Perls called the top dog, because you're not able to, they're more dependent, they're completely dependent on the therapist. And so if we can give them even the smallest tools for self-soothing, for self-regulation, and here, you take your right hand and you put it here under your left arm on the side of the heart. Yeah, got it. And the other hand on the shoulder. And just to get a feeling, Ruth and everybody else who's watching, what this feels like, what the sensation is like, not just of your hands, but of what's going on inside of your body. Most people report a settling. What this does, I believe, is it helps us become aware of our container. The body is the container of all of our sensations and all of our feelings. It's all in the body. And this is the container of the body, is the kind of the outside of our body, our shoulders, the sides of our thorax and so forth. And when the person can feel the container, then the emotions and the sensations do not feel as overwhelming because they're being contained. The second one is just putting a hand on their forehead and the other hand on their upper chest. And just to wait. And they can do this with their eyes open or closed, whatever they feel more comfortable with. A lot of people like to do it with their eyes closed, or others don't feel safe enough. To just feel what goes on between the hands. Sometimes they'll feel like an energy flow, or a change in temperature, or a feeling. And I just ask them just to keep their hands there. It could be just a few moments. It could be 5 or 10 minutes. Until they feel some kind of a shift. And then to take the upper hand here, keep the lower hand on the chest, and then put this hand on the belly. And again, just wait until there's some shift, till there's some flow. And sometimes people, if they're unable to sleep or they're afraid they're going to have nightmares, if they do simple things like that, they fall into sleep much better, and often the dreams are much more useful dreams. tapping, the energy psychology kinds of things. For some people, that works very well. Other people, you can use like tapping. Another thing I suggest is actually literally tapping the skin all over so you get a sense of the boundary, because traumatized people, there's a hole in their boundary. So as you kind of help the body remember that it is the container, then they feel more able to deal with their sensations and their emotions. Also, squeezing the muscles, different parts of the body, also helps with boundary, sense of boundary.
Well, it's because when we're stressed out, our limbic system is kind of running the show. So this is the deeper, older, emotional brain. And its purpose is to keep us safe from threats and help us connect to others and a whole bunch of other really important things. But this part of our brain is not where conscious or logical thinking happens. That stuff all happens in the cortex, the younger, logical and rational brain. And these two parts of the brain, when they're stressed out, it's like a bad breakup. Like they aren't really talking to each other very well. So that's why it's pretty hard to calm yourself down or to relax by just thinking that you need to relax. That usually just makes things worse. But that doesn't mean that we can't train ourselves to calm down. We just have to come in through a different approach. And that's from a body-based approach. The limbic system is also called the mammal brain. So if you imagine a mama bear who can go through all the emotions, like she's happy when she finds some honey, or she's furious when she sees something that threatens her cubs, or she's sweet when she sniffs and licks her little babies. All of these emotions are associated with her senses: smell, taste, sight, or touch. And that's how the limbic or mammalian part of our brain works. It relies on our senses to determine whether we're safe or we're in danger. So one of the ways that we can signal to our brain that we're safe, that it's okay to calm down, is by making a sensory toolkit. A sensory toolkit is like a little collection of physical objects that can help you come to your senses and get recentered, to get grounded and to calm yourself down. So let's talk about a couple of things that you can add to yours. So let's start with smell, because smell is so powerful and it's really closely associated with emotion and memory. So start by choosing a couple of scents that you love or that are really calming for you, and you can keep those near you. So this could be something like a scented lotion or an essential oil. You can use like a little necklace diffuser, or carry the oil around with you. You could also use a perfume that you really like, or any other scent that you really like.
So touch is a great way to self-soothe and self-regulate. In the book called The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk, he talks about the importance of massage and touch in order to heal.
But something that gives you like a little sip or just a little taste of something soothing, like a sip of tea or a little mint, like those can all be helpful to get you kind of recentered and back to the moment. What can you look at that calms you? I mean, one of the best things is just noticing the room that you're in, looking around and noticing that you're in a safe place. And again, this is speaking to your mammal brain, right? You think about that mama bear who's scanning her environment for dangers. And when you scan your environment and you realize you're safe, that triggers your limbic brain to be like, oh, cool, we're good. Look at the blue sky to get centered. And those were some of the sensory grounding techniques that I would use to help me calm down. Okay, now let's talk about sound. What kind of sounds make you feel safe? Is it white noise, or running water, birds chirping, or complete silence? What kind of music makes you feel safe? You could choose a couple of go-to songs that help you remember that you are safe, and they bring to mind that sense of peace and security in your life.
So sound is a great way to help self-soothe, finding calming music, or finding a sound bath near you. These sounds help resonate different parts of your body, which has shown to be calming.
If those moments of stress and anxiety happen and you're not doing something to self-soothe, whether it's like Go take a bath, go for a walk, go to the gym, take a breath, lay on the floor, go make your wellness shake. Like whatever you got to do, self-soothing is actually the ultimate competitive advantage. When you're at work and two people are in a meeting and they're frustrated, one person loses their stuff because they haven't trained themselves, and the other person can stay cool hand Luke and steady, the peaceful warrior. I'll put my money on that peaceful warrior every day of the week. Denise and I were talking this morning on our morning walk, and she was talking about the power of self-soothing. And it really resonated with me. And I was like, oh, yeah, I think I'm good at that. How many days I feel super frustrated or angry or hurt or slow. I can't count them as days, but those moments are there. And I got to calm myself down. So again, coming back to the release meditation technique, the simple thing of you breathe in, you breathe out, you breathe in, you breathe out, and all you're doing is you're putting pressure on the back of your head near your cerebellum. You're pulling with pressure down over the neck and onto the chest. And I will just close my eyes and I'll take the breath in and breathe out. And I'll do that 10, 20, 30, 50 times. I'll bounce in place 10, 20, 30, 50 times. I'll open up my body. I'll tap. I'll do a lot of things because guess what? I know the sooner I end that anxiety and that frustration, the more productive, healthy, and forward-looking I am. I don't want to be stuck there. So I have to self-soothe. Remember, if you aren't doing self-soothing on an active basis, you are not even close to your real emotional powers. What most people do is they just go through the world reacting, go through the world feeling what their biases feel, going through the world upset, angry, emotional roller coaster 24/7 as if they don't have complete and utter ability to change that and to feel better over the long term. It's not easy, but if you're above the age of 20 years old, if you're above the age of 18 years old, I hope you spend a lot of time trying to learn to master your emotions. A lot of time trying to self-soothe when you get angry or upset or frustrated. If you're dealing with stress the same way today as you did 3 years ago, welcome to Growth Day. God bless you. Thank you for being here. There is no excuse for people not getting better at stress every year of their life.
So one of the best ways I have found to help self-regulate or self-soothe is through yoga, through movement. In the book, The Body Keeps the Score with Bessel van der Kolk, he talks about the importance of healing trauma, anxiety, and stress through movement. And yoga is the perfect way to do that.